Okay, so me moving to the farm never happened. But it probably would have been a really good experience as far as being a kid and going from city life to farm life and just getting away from my stepmom. Like, I bet you the only reason why I didn't do it is because I would miss my dad. And I never wanted to do anything that would hurt my dad. Like, my dad protected me from so much. And I owed it to him to just be a good kid and to be there for him and to not hurt him. Oh, and if you're wondering, yes, I smoke weed. It's what I do. Other than that, I'm pretty much sober. Last time I had a drink was at my wedding, and that was 2 years ago. I don't really drink. I used to heavily drink. I used to dabble in drugs when I was younger. Nothing crazy, just like acid, mushrooms, ecstasy. None of the crazy shit. Never snorted anything. Never got into meth or shot up anything in my veins. No. I saw people do that shit and I stayed away. Weed has helped me with my anxiety. It's helped me with pain. It has helped me with so much stuff, and I'm never gonna stop. So I'm gonna smoke this blunt while I'm talking to you guys. So yeah, never moved to the farm. Never wanted to hurt my dad. I'm gonna touch base a bit on what I mentioned in a prior video where I talked about the fear being instilled into me. And what I mean by that is my stepmom instilled fear into me so I wouldn't get in trouble. My stepmom used to like to cook and bake and do all sorts of things. And so one year, I think she was either gifted or bought, it was a spaghetti maker, a pasta maker. It was like one of these big machines. You put the shit in, and it has all these different settings for however you wanted your noodles to look. And the noodles would come out one end, and it had a metal spatula that would slide into where the noodles came out, and you can cut off the noodles to whatever length that you wanted. This spatula, it was like, it had a handle, plastic handle, but the rest of the spatula was metal. It was in like a flat metal spatula shape, a flat spatula. But the edges of the spatula, like say this is the handle and this is the spatula, the edges had a little lip on it on each side, so when you went over the hole that spit out the pasta, it could lock into place. So one side was flat, one side had the lips on it. When my stepmom wasn't making pasta anymore, that metal spatula became our metal paddle for our bare asses. Yes, metal spatula on bare asses. Let that sink in, okay? Couldn't just use your hand, couldn't just use a shoe, couldn't just use your words. You had to use a metal spatula on our bare asses. That's abuse. I'm going to let you know that right now, and I hope you're watching. But now that I realize what had happened, that's abuse, Joanne. So, I've also mentioned that I had to lie to kick it because we lived a sheltered life because, Joanne was always afraid that whatever happened to her might happen to us. And she was very untrusting of people. Very untrusting in a sense that if we went over to somebody's house, she needed to know who the parents were. She had to be their friend. And we couldn't be there for more than a half hour. There were also instances where I was a teenager, and when I was finally able to go out and do things, I had to call her every half hour on the half hour or else I had to come home and I would be in trouble and I would be grounded and I wouldn't be able to go out anymore. So if I messed up any sort of outing by not doing any of her rules, it fucked up my future of being any sort of social person with my friends, which also allowed more bullying to happen to me because I wasn't allowed to do a lot of things that my friends were allowed to do. So this metal spatula became our metal paddle on our bare asses, and we had to lie to kick it. But see, here's the thing. My sister, she learned her lying from me, but she didn't know how to lie like me. Like she was young. She was still learning the ropes. Whereas 4 years ahead of her, I knew the ropes, and I knew how her mom would react, and I knew how our dad would react, and I knew what I could get away with and what I couldn't get away with, and I knew how to work around things. Well, being that she didn't know how to lie very well, we got in trouble for a lot of her lies. You know, there was always a he said, she said bullshit. Well, no, she said this, and no, she said that, and to eliminate trying to figure out who did what, we both got it. There's one time I will never, ever forget how bad we got it. And I mean, it was like this quite often if we got in trouble, where the metal paddle would enter and teach us a lesson or something of that sort. But one specific time in general, Melissa lied. I can't remember what she lied about, but she fucking lied on me so hard. We both got it, though. We got it so bad that we were running from Joanne, her mom. We were running from her from downstairs to upstairs because she was yelling. She went to get the paddle and she was coming after us. We were in our room. We shut the door. She came in, pissed off, flung open that door, and we were like huddled next to each other, scared, like, what the fuck is going to happen to us type scared. And I remember sitting against that cinder block wall on my bed and begging her not to hit us and telling her that I wasn't lying. And she didn't care. She pulled down both of our fucking pantses, shoved us against the wall, and started wailing on our asses as hard as she fucking could with that fucking metal paddle, to where I was clawing the fucking cinder block wall, begging her to stop, screaming for her to stop, to where our neighbor Debbie was yelling at us to stop yelling. That's how bad it was. I will never forget that incident. I don't think she ever hit us with the paddle after that since. I can't remember. I've suppressed a lot of shit because it wasn't always good. My dad was the only one who brought joy into that house. And we would go places and have fun and whatnot. Joanne, I was scared of her. I didn't want her touching me. I didn't want her hitting me with that metal paddle. I didn't want my bare ass red and bruised and sore and too sore to sit on. I don't know if Melissa ever remembers that, but I'll never forget. Because I think my views on my stepmom significantly changed right then and there, because she wasn't hitting to discipline. She was hitting to hurt. And it left scars. Not physical, but emotional scars. And I had to continue to lie to kick it. My life was severely sheltered, and if nobody believes me, ask my best friend Jenny. She's been my best friend to this day since I was 13. She saw so much of what I went through by the hands of Joanne that I tried to go live with Jenny. I wanted to emancipate myself. I wanted to do homeschooling because of the bullying, and because she said, if you get in a fight at school, you're getting into a fight with me at home. Like, who the fuck says that to their child? And I ain't making this shit up. This isn't something that somebody just makes up and remembers when they're 39 years old and is like, come on. These are my experiences. Don't ever tell me that my experiences aren't real. Don't ever tell me my feelings aren't real. Just don't ever tell me my truth isn't real unless you were there. Anyway. Sorry I had to say that. I've just been deemed a liar my entire fucking life because of my little sister, Melissa, and my stepmom, Joanne. And I'm tired of feeling like I have to defend myself, but my entire life I've had to defend myself. And the fact that my dad isn't here, I have to defend myself against two people who know exactly how to destroy me. And that's by lying about me and making people believe it and getting people on their side and getting people to hate me and to threaten me and to want to harm me, even though they don't know me. It's amazing what people do, and they're supposed to be your family. So, yeah, growing up, I had a lie to kick it. A lot. Like, a lot. My friends made fun of me because I couldn't do the things that they did. And that hurt my pride. That hurt my confidence. That had people making fun of not only me, but it had people making fun of my family and everything about us. Whether it was the car that my dad drove, the clothes that I wore, the fact that my stepmom was fat, or my sister had cross eyes and she wore thick Coke bottle glasses. Like, people made fun of me for everything, even if it didn't have anything to physically do with me. I remember a kid in school tried to tell my parents at a back to school night that I was swearing and I was this and I was that. But he failed to mention that he was one of my bullies. He was a triplet, and he was the worst triplet. He was one of my bullies throughout most of my elementary years. And he was that good of a bully that he could easily turn all your peers against you with just one word. And so that one word was Kristy. Krusty Kristy. Krusty Kristy was a name that stuck with me for a very, very long time until I stopped getting mad at it. And here's where the name stemmed from. So when I was younger, your parents buy your clothes. They buy all your stuff for you. At least they did then. Nowadays, kids can wear whatever the fuck they want. It's insane. So either way, parents bought my clothes for me. So one of the things that was bought was, of course, my underwear. And so most of you girls know that, or most of you had these, the day of the week underwear. I had a set. I think we had like 2 or 3 sets of day of the week underwear. Like, that's just how my family was. They would buy things in bulk because we weren't rich. We were actually quite poor. And a lot of people don't know that. I grew up quite poor. Flooding, hand-me-downs, if there were any, through the cousins. You only got stuff if you absolutely needed it. We were poor. And so, yeah, I got made fun of one day because I wore the wrong day of the week underwear. And I got pantsed at school. And this boy, who's John, one of the triplets, pantsed me. And he's seen that I was wearing the wrong day of the week underwear. And he made fun of me and said that, in fact, this is how it went. Ew, gross, you're disgusting. That's crusty. Haha, Krusty Kristy, Krusty Kristy. Oh, Krusty. That's how it went. Okay? And I remember everybody laughing, and I remember everybody following suit. I can still remember faces and names to this day of all those people who partook and who bullied me and singled me out and made me feel like I was nothing. Thank you. Because I wish that I was the person I am today back then. Because today my skin is so thick that I would probably just laugh in your face. Because it's what you're doing is a reflection of yourself. It has nothing to do with me. There's something about you that you don't like. So you're taking it out on me. But either way. So, being bullied at school didn't help. In an elementary school, one of my bullies happened to live across the street from me by the name of Brandy, aka Brandon. Her birth name is Brandon, and I guess she went by Brandy. And this was the type of girl that would lure you in, lure you in by acting like she is your best friend and that she is just all about you. And then flipping it and trying to beat you up or lock you in a bathroom, or I don't exactly remember everything that she would say to me, but she was just somebody that I was afraid of. She was a bigger girl. She had parents that didn't really care what she did, so therefore she can get away with anything, and I couldn't. And she was just a really nasty person. And there was one time where she locked me in the girls' bathroom and told me that she would come back with a pound puppy. If you remember the 80s, pound puppies were the shit. It's a big old puppy, a pound puppy, and then some of them had like a pocket in them where they have little baby puppies, and you can like have baby puppies. Some cute little 80s stuffed animal toy. But and I don't know how she locked me in the bathroom. I can't remember how she did it, but I could not get out of the bathroom stall. I remember I had to crawl under the door. Oh, it was a busted one. In the girls' bathroom, we had a busted bathroom stall that nobody used. And she somehow managed to lock me in the bathroom. And I missed class, and I got in trouble, and I'll never forget it. And then, get in trouble at home by your stepmom, which is never fun. So that's a little snippet of that, and I guess I could dive into a little bit more since some of the memories happened around the same time. I was close with my cousin Heather. Like, she was like my older sister growing up. We would see them, my dad's brother and my aunt and my cousin Heather, all the time. And she was older. She was 4 years older than me, so she got to do older kid stuff, and she'd play with makeup, and we would play with our grandma's makeup. Grandma Garcia, rest in peace. Miss you, love you so much. And one day I came to school with red lipstick on. I don't know what I was thinking. I think I was in third grade. And third grade Miss Gray's class, Fairview Elementary. God, I can't believe I'm remembering all this stuff. But came into class, had red lipstick on, and Miss Gray was not a nice teacher. She was one of those teachers you were afraid of. And she was the first person to make fun of me. I remember coming in thinking I was the shit. I was late from the bell. All the other girls were wearing lipstick, like popular Christina and her little crew. And it was probably a lip gloss, but I had some bright red lipstick, So either way, I come into the class, and Miss Gray is like, "What is that on your face?" And I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And I go and sit down, and she's like, "Why are you wearing lipstick? You look," and she's doing this in front of the whole class, like standing in front of the class, singling me out. "Why are you wearing red lipstick? You look like a clown. You need to go to the bathroom and wash that off your face right now. Let's go to the principal's office and call your mom," and this, that, and the other. Whole class looking at me, pointing, laughing, calling me a clown. "You look stupid," all this other shit. Crazy, right? Kids are fucking crazy. Like, instead of just sitting there minding your own business or like No, it was full on. Ha 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 ha. Fucking insane. So I get in trouble for that. I remember one time ditching detention. I actually went to the door. It was like one of those things, you got detention in elementary school and you had to go to a certain classroom. And I remember getting detention. It was probably for that, honestly. You got detention for wearing red lipstick to school. Insane. I got detention and I went to the door and I never went in. And somehow in my brain, I figured that if I didn't go and I walked home, by the time I got home, it'll seem as if I did detention, or I don't know, or as if I didn't get it and I was just staying after. I don't know what my logic was. I just remember not going. And like I said before, this is at Fairview Elementary School in Hayward, California, which is still there at the top of Kelly Hill on Maud. And we lived on Center by Grove Way. And for a child, that's a very long walk. And why am I saying a very long walk? Because I ditched detention and I walked my happy ass all the way home. I remember skipping down the hill like it was nobody's business. And then I got home and Joanne, stepmonster, had asked me how I got home. And I told her and I was in trouble. You could have been kidnapped. You could have been killed. You could have been all this shit. But I was home. Never did that again. But it's crazy the shit that you remember when you just start spilling out all these things and just getting them off your chest, and like the names and the streets and everything. It's just insane. But that's just another snippet of my life. And I think in the next video I'm going to talk a little bit more about the bullying that I endured, because I couldn't imagine being a kid today, but today's bullying is more of social media, whereas my bullying was verbal, physical, and mental. And I'll talk about that more later. But until then, peace. Thanks for sticking around.